Now, 4 JoyNews journalists emerged winners in various categories at the 24th Ghana Journalist Association Awards held at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel here in Accra. Seth Kwame Boateng, Justice Bedu, Beryl Ernestina Richter and Inatalia Kwanzaa were awarded for their excellent performances in the year under review. Editor of Junior Graphic Doreen Hammond was crowned Journalist of the Year at Saturday's event, which climaxed the 70th anniversary celebrations of the GJA. Now, Latif Idris has the rest of the story.
Features TV category going to Seth Kwame Boateng of JoyNews.
One after the other, nominees were called to the stage to receive their certificates and plaques in recognition of their excellent reports in the various categories as advertised by the Ghana Journalist Association. 4 JoyNews journalists picked awards. Inatalia Kwanzaa won yet another award after winning 3 at the Western Regional GJA Awards. She was crowned the most promising journalist of the year.
All I have to say, it means I have to work harder, and I promise to work harder, especially with the rural communities in the Western region. They should wait, they should look out for me coming to visit them to highlight on their issue.
Beryl Ernestina Richter picked her first ever award in journalism in the health reporting category.
It feels great, and I'm humbled, and I thank God for everything.
Did you see this day coming?
Yes. Yes, I saw this day coming, that one day I'll be rewarded for my hard work. And the day has finally come, and I give thanks to God for me.
What does this mean to you going forward as a young journalist coming up?
As a young journalist, this award also means I have to work hard. This award also means there's more to come if I put in more effort in whatever I'm tasked to do.
2014 Journalist of the Year, Seth Kwame Boateng, who picked up 2 awards in features and human rights reporting, says this could be his last. What is different about this year's award for you?
So perhaps, maybe my last.
Are you saying you're not filing, you're not coming in again?
Oh, I'm saying perhaps maybe my last. But I see this as a peer review for legends in this industry to assess my work and award me.
Justice Bedu was adjudged Best Journalist in the Telecommunication category.
Yes, this is my first DJ award, believe it or not. It's my first DJ award, and I mean, like Seth and like everyone else, I think this is it's a proud moment, not just for me, but for the entire team. And I think that the quality of journalism that we do at JoyNews is unparalleled.
The ultimate award, Journalist of the Year, went to Doreen Hammond, editor of Junior Graphic.
Gradually, it seems to me that to be recognized in this society of ours as a journalist of repute, you have to rub shoulders with slay queens and kings. But that is not the kind of journalism we were introduced to years ago. But I know there are many great journalists doing great things in the background. To them I say, don't give up. Your reward will come in God's own time.
Addressing the journalist, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia urged media practitioners to continue to monitor and criticize if government policies are not progressing as expected, and also give credit when the government performs creditably.
They teach us that the journalism's first obligation is to the truth. Its first loyalty is to citizens. Its essence is a discipline of verification. Its practitioners must maintain an independence from those they cover. It must serve as an independent monitor of power. It must provide a public forum for public criticism and compromise. It must strive to keep the significant, interesting, and relevant. It must keep the news comprehensive and proportional. Its practitioners must be allowed to exercise their personal conscience. Citizens, too, have rights and responsibilities when it comes to news.
Some veterans in journalism profession like Kwesi Pratt Jr., Benefsin and Kwekuba Jr., among others, were also honored. Former CEO of VRA, Charles Rekubrobe, and others were also recognized for their role in nurturing private media in Ghana. CEO of Multimedia Group, Kwesi Chum, and Osei Kwame Despite Group of companies were also given special recognition for their role in sustaining private media in Ghana.
1-0.
Saturday's events climaxed the 70th anniversary celebration of the Ghana Journalists Association.
Right. So let's now watch excerpts of some of the stories that won these journalists the awards they picked up over the weekend. We'll first start with Seth Kwame Boateng, who won Best in Human Rights Reporting and Features.
Life virtually ends here. Dreams are shattered immediately you are marched to this block. The scary sounds of death is all you hear ringing in your ears every second. Sadly, a greater percentage of these condemned prisoners are very young. Some are below 30 years. 23-year-old Abdul Halik Hamza is one of the prisoners. He can be killed through hanging anytime. I find him in a small makeshift mosque made for them in the condemned block. This is where Halik consoles himself anytime it dawns on him that he killed and he must also be killed. The Quran is his companion. Sadly, his journey into the condemned block started right after reading his Quran and offering his Maghrib prayers on 13 July 2013 in Tamale, the northern regional capital.
It was in a fasting season when we about to break our fasting, so I left with my friends to the Nyohani roundabout to get some food and break our fasting. When we got there, we met some other group there. So we sit with them, and we sat with them, and we were conversing. So after that, I was left with one of my friends to take some key password with him that he was changed in my computer. So I was there with the friend when I heard noise. The people were shouting there. Actually, when I came back, I asked what happened, what is going on here, and they said some guys came and said they are going to beat them. That is what I heard. So I was telling them to stop. They were shouting and they were all taking things. They were just fighting. So I was telling them to stop. Through stopping them, I take some stick, some wood, to see what I can do that to separate them so that everybody will move there. But being in this thing, through this separation, I hit one with the stick and he fell down.
It was not a normal fall. His victim, Abdul Kanu, did not die immediately. He was quickly rushed to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and Halik was immediately whisked away to the police station by a police patrol team who chanced on the incident. Abdul, unfortunately, did not survive. He died the next day.
That morning, one also came to me. One of my friends came to me and said the person is okay. Now he's even talking. Lately, getting to around 10 or 9, when another person also came and told me that the person is normal. Hey. And that time, I've never made that thing before, and I've never think of it. So that time I make confused, because how can a human being lose his life through in your hands? So that time I was even confused. I was in the cells and they told me to eat, and I said, no, I can't eat. This is what is going on. And what is going on, that thing, I've never seen some before, so I can't live with it. And they told me I should be patient. This one, it is not my fault, but God knows why. That is why they That's what my friends in the cell told me.
Yeah. Now, for the health category, Twisted by Birth, a documentary on obstetric fistula, earned Beryl Ernestina Richter the best reporter for that category.
I keep praying to God to make my next surgery successful. What wrong have I committed to deserve this? God, please help me to get money to buy my basic needs. All my clothes smell of urine.
Meet Kuka from Ladayiri, a village in the Wa West district of the Upper West region. Kuka is in her mid-40s. Her condition developed when she went into labor. The labor produced contractions that pushed the baby's head against Kuka's pelvic bone. The soft tissues between the baby's head and the pelvic bone became compressed due to inadequate blood flow. As Kuka reeled through the pain, the delicate tissue in the pelvic area died. This has created a hole between her bladder and vagina. Kuka's labor lasted for 15 hours. The baby died eventually, leaving her with no joy. She has endured 4 surgeries to correct her fistula condition, but that hasn't made a difference.
I have undergone more than 3 surgeries, all to no avail. After my last surgery, I haven't been too well. I always get exhausted with any small task I undertake. Whenever I'm in the midst of people, they always ask if any child has soiled herself with urine. I pity myself because I can't own up.
Today, Kuka urinates on herself, sometimes even without knowing. This is causing her a lot of shame and has left her with no friends. After a few minutes into this interview, Kuka was soaked in her urine. Esiesom is 28 years old. She lives at Imuna in the Akomfi constituency of the Central Region. Fistula can be very devastating, not only on the health of the women who live with the condition, but also on their social interactions. Essie is unable to socialize because of her condition.
I begin to leak urine anytime I sit down. Because I'm always wet, I'm unable to work. I don't go anywhere. I'm always here at home. I used to smoke fish to sell, but because of my condition, I no longer plan a trade.
Abna Meyamewu is at Imuna. She also lives with this condition. Indeed, life has been tough for her. The pain and shame from urinating on herself all the time made her suicidal.
If you were the one in this condition, would you be happy? You certainly wouldn't. I'm not happy. I've really struggled. I wore a catheter all the way to Accra. I couldn't even sit down. I was so wet. I wanted just to die and end it all. But my children were young, so what was I supposed to do? If at the time my children were old enough, like they are right now, I would have just taken my life. I'm not lying to you. I was so determined to do this.
24-year-old Grace Asieko lives at Munford near Apam in the Central Region. She has the worst form of fistula. Grace is suffering from rectovaginal fistula. That's simply a leaking hole created between the rectum and the vagina.
The father of my first child doesn't take care of our 5-year-old son now. I sometimes don't eat a whole day just so I could take care of my child's needs. Things are very, very difficult for me now. And so I have to resort to begging in order to get money for my upkeep. My mother used to help me, but she can't now because she does not have enough money.
Yeah, a very memorable one there. Now, Justice Baidu's piece on mobile phone connections in a rural community won him the Best Reporter Gong for Telecommunications and ICT. But before we get to that, we're honored to have one of our awardees here with us, Beryl Richter. Oh, wow. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
It must feel quite special. This is your very first GJA award, but hopefully the first of many, right?
Yes, first of many to come.
All right, so tell me about the night. Tell me about the feeling sitting there and waiting to hear if your name would be mentioned.
It was a special night for me. And I wasn't nervous. I was even surprised. I wasn't nervous. I was calm, relaxed, because I know deep in my heart that I really worked hard. And I was confident that I was going to bring something home. And I was so confident of this category that I won, the health category. Because even prior to that, the West African Media Excellence Awards, this story earned me a spot as a finalist. So I was so sure that I was going to win the health category.
And you did.
And I did by the grace of God. By the grace of God.
Indeed. Now tell me, I mean, when you went up to receive your award, I mean, we weren't there. We didn't catch your acceptance speech. But yeah, I mean, you must have felt some gratitude. Who did you mention and thank in your speech?
In the interview with Latif, I said I thank God for how far He's brought me, because I know it hasn't been a smooth journey. As I mentioned early on in the morning during the AM show, there were times I really felt like giving up when I was working on this story because of some challenges I encountered in my way. But I think the fighting spirit I have within me and the passion and the perseverance kept me going on. No, I always thought that, okay, there's something bigger ahead. Don't look at the immediate circumstances, immediate unfavorable circumstances. Forge ahead, be determined. And God has crowned my hard work with success, and I thank God for it. And the important thing about this is, it's not only about winning the award, but touching lives, impacting lives. Out of this documentary that I told, 3 of the women have undergone successful surgeries. That alone, for me, is a plus. When I sit down, I thank God that, oh, out of this story that I told, someone's life has changed. And I think that's all what journalism should be about. We should be able to not only tell the stories, but after telling the stories, follow up, make sure you get results, and make sure you put a smile at the end of the day on someone's face. And that's marvelous. And could you let me say something? I didn't do the story alone. We have a solid team here. Editors, cameramen, drivers, whoever.
Want names. We want
names, okay. Number 1, Kweko was super proud. My editor, Kweko will be super proud. He's been like a dad to me in the newsroom. He's always there for me. There were times,
he is very old.
Yes. There were times I felt like giving up when I was doing the story. He continued urging, Beryl, I've seen this thing in you. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So number 1, Kweko was super proud in the newsroom. Then first of all, God. I thank God for how far He has brought me, because He started with me. And when I was doing the story, He was still with me. I kept on praying, God, give me the strength. You know why I started the story. You gave me the idea. You gave me the strength. Give me the strength to end the story. Then my family. I have a very, very supportive family. Even though I admit when I started journalism, they weren't very, very supportive because of the perception that it's not a very, very lucrative career. But they weren't very supportive. So my family, I thank them for their patience. And also friends, other colleagues in the newsroom, Komla Adom, Nancy, Mfadjo Adozi, Fifi Kumsin, Naraba Kumsin. Please pardon me if I forget to mention your name. But
I was hoping you'd be telling us who your camera, technician
my camera
was.
Technician, Kessie, then another cameraman in Ward, Daniel. Then there was another cameraman to here. The list is endless. If I forget something now, somebody will come and quote me, hey, you mentioned other people's names. But let me also not forget the medical team. Let me also not forget the medical team. The doctors at Kolebu. I started with Dr. Gandao. He started with the interviews. Then when I came to Accra, the doctors at Kolebu, they've been very, very supportive. Anytime I knock on their doors, they are ready to help. Dr. Ganyaglo, I always knock on your door. Thanks so much for helping me. through him, we've been able to get results for these women. Then Auntie Rose, she's a public health nurse at Mankesim, the Fistula Women's Center there. Then the other people, the list is endless, but whoever has contributed to the growth of my career and to the success of this story, I say, may God help, may God bless you. Whoever saw that I can do spirit within me and pushed me, may God bless you. Whatever person you've spent on me, may God bless you. Whoever believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself, may God bless you.
There you go. Repeat of the acceptance speech. But of course, we're all very happy, very proud of you, Beryl. You've done so well. And of course, that means we expect even more from you.
Yeah, more. I know God is not done with me yet. This is just the beginning of greater things to come. And I'll continue working hard and produce stories that will have impact on lives.
Journalist of the Year in the health category, Beryl Ernestina Richter. Congratulations. Very well done. Well, from that happy smile to another. Justice Baidu's piece on mobile phone connection in a rural community won him the best reporter for telecommunications and ICT. Here's a little bit of what he did for that.
These people are on a journey to make a phone call. We've been traveling from Palewogo, this small town, one of more than 20 in this area alone, where there is no connection for mobile telephony. This is a daily ritual here. Hundreds of people make this sometimes perilous journey, traveling for up to an hour, just so they could place a phone call to connect with other human beings. We finally arrive under a big moringa tree. It is only here that people can access a mobile network. The people spread out in search of connection. When they finally get it, the relief on their faces is priceless. Even here, there are no guarantees. Sometimes you get connection, sometimes you don't.
Hello? Some people in Ghana, they'll sit in their rooms to do any type of call that they want. But for we dear, you have to travel, look for a motorbike to fuel and go to that place to do the call. For doing all those things, you look as if, at times you think as if you are not even part of Ghana. When you come back to this village, as if you have just gone back into a hole. You can get help from...
Back in the town, I sit down with Eliasu Halidu, who lost his wife who was in labor 2 years ago because there was no network to call an ambulance when her delivery got complicated.
Some for our school children. They tried their best, they couldn't. So they said we're going to make what ambulance came and pick her to Uwa. So when we didn't get the network, so before he came back, he lost his life.
Palewogo is one of many towns in the Wa East district without mobile telephony network. More than half of the landmass of the Wa East district, where Palewogo is located, is without mobile telephony network. Government has, however, recently put up a clinic here, but even work in this facility is stifled because there is no connection.
Here being a chief's compound, most of the work we do here, most of the time we have to refer if it's beyond our power. And what we do is, before you refer, where to refer is a concern. And that if there was network, you will call to be sure that where I'm referring to, there's a midwife there, which is nearer, so that it will ease time. But since there's no network, you can't call, you have to refer, go like that.
The government wants to formalize the economy, taking advantage of the booming number of mobile phones currently in use. And yet it seems many, like the people of Palewogo, are being left behind. Justice Baidu, JoyNews. Palewogo, Wa East.